That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Order! Order! Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When they chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in his... Apparently they updated Dragon Quest builders, okay? This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutor award knife was the murder weapon, then the murder weapon and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh, yeah, I think that was the thing I was thinking about before. But I might be wrong there, but yeah. But the prosecutor was the one actually died. That's true. What is going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Who... Wait, I remember now. I remember everything. Witness! Mr. Edgeworth? What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list? This one, with that picture scribbled on the back. I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't thrown in half at the time. I drew this picture, and they put this music in like, I'm taunting you! Like, bloody hell. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part way deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness testimony. Would you please tell us what you've been recalling, Miss Sky? Oh my god, it's a bit chilly in here, but I do like it at the same time because my computer sometimes gets warm. I'm gonna check here. Yeah, it doesn't really work as fast as it sometimes does. Especially when I play Generation Zero. A fun game, mostly because it's in Sweden. It's a bit nice, but it's buggy as hell. God dang it, it's buggy. Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up, and now the blue badger? This could be interesting. Yeah, that sounds... Oh, sorry for the mic boom. When I saw that man raising his knife, I panicked. I rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. Blue badger? Where? This is certainly most unusual.
Objection!
Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't exist 2 years ago. Yes, very well. The defense may now begin. What the hell? Stop, please. Don't pursue this any further. Lara? What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. We can't do this. I already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it to that? Chief Prosecutor Sky. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Yeah, but actually... Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Yeah, apparently. Good luck with that, though. Oh! Sorry, that was not my... Okay. Well, sorry for that thing. I thought I changed it, but apparently not. When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark. Yes, at least I think it was him. You think? All I can remember seeing were shadows. The power outage that immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office report. So, then you... what? What exactly did you do? Tell me your secrets! I had to... I don't know why. Like, it doesn't come because I wanted to come, I just do it because it's a good moment. Planning to rush forward. Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. I'm convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife. But as we just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that Dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was I have to get help that other person. What do you mean you think? it all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly, what I did, it's all kind of a blur. The Sky was almost killed before she was witness to a murder about to take place. With such an affair happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with a knife. What did you do? What you did was very brave, young girl. So then, what happened next? Are you sure about this? Of course, see? I even drew the picture of him there. But he was the chief of the detectives who thought of with this hideous beast. And I was just this year. The Blue Badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite very fable. Very fable. I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I've seen him before somewhere. Now I finally remember. So that's why you say you want to stop him because it feels he's going to do something naughty. Oh brother, just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion. Yeah, it's lingering. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing? He wasn't in the room, but I certainly saw his shadow. His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face, with his winning smile and all? That's right, but still, I remember it. He had 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. That may be well be. All important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation. If so, then by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was. What was it Emma saw in the lightning flashed? Who is this Blue Badger? I just might know. The Blue Badger! Blue Badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture. Yet, she's certain she saw this shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense belief that one of the fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the Blue Badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright. In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in this instant? Please show us the mysterious Blue Badger. 3 creepy horns. Oh, wait, I have to just close my window a bit because my window is open and I don't know if you can hear this. You can't hear that actually. I'm looking at this thing, but it's pissing outside right now if I'm gonna be seat with it. I'm just gonna close my window. Yeah, it's probably not good to have the window open for too long. It's already on a load window. I want to be able to close it fully. But we have a rather weird roof, so if I have it open like this, it won't really get wet. So yeah. Actually, can it be this thing when it fell over? Okay, so 3 horns looking like a badger. So if you now check, wait, how do we check the badger? We can check this thing. So we have the badger there. The only thing I can think of is this thing, because it has those things there. I'm just going to check here. That's the only thing actually. I'm gonna check this. I'm gonna like do, yeah. So if you do this, it becomes the blue badger. Looks weird from there and looks weird from here. It was a base! The mysterious blue badger was in fact this. But that's... what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed it doesn't, as it stands now. It's just plain jar. However, what if we change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint! To show them the correct angle. I'm trying the correct angle. Ah, that angle. Okay, I have to rotate it. So you saw it from above. Because if I do this, and then this, so it must be laying down by her side, or she stood up in this angle. Well, is this a miracle or what? No one can possibly deny this jar resembles the blue badger. That thing is taunting us. No, it can't be. Apparently that thing is haunting us. It's haunting our dreams and nightmares, and even the normal dreams, no nightmare stuff. Speaking of nightmares, I actually have a writing here, one of my nightmares. To be honest, it might be a nightmare, but it's kind of good reading. Mostly because it actually made me be able to think of a role-playing creature, if we say so, a monster, more or less. Like a giant ghost. But it's not just a giant ghost, it's something weird-ass thing, because I remember the dream. The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witness on the day of the crime was actually this. Objection! Although we all enjoy Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So that blue badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed. Very well then, please tell us. What difference that we know the witness... What difference now that we know the witness saw this job? Am I reading this wrong, or am I What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar? Whoa. The location. There's only the location. Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At a very specific angle, might I add, Mr. Wright? Yes. We well know this where could have seen this jar. Where? The location of the jar is shown in the picture taken on the day of the crime. On a shelf in the office of Damon Gant. But that body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testifies so herself. Yes, and these two facts reveal that is what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There is no reason. Exactly. Huh? If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. There's only one logical conclusion, is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? Who knows? Who knows? I finally figured out. This was why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. I think I know where he's going. Please recall the witness testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to been an impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if you may draw your attention to the picture once more. If the man was knocked into the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, there would have... What would he have hit? Ow, like... Ah! This suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword! Yes. And since the man was knocked into the armor was carrying the broken knife, it would have had been Neil Marshall wielding the King of Prosecutors' office trophy. No, Mr. Wright. You can't be thinking... Yes, there is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? What possibility? Of course the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place as the defense theorized, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh God. That's a sturdy armor if he actually was kept hanging there. Dear Lord, May, you actually have stuff like that there. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! And that is what... I think she fainted. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Sky, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved to the Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister's killing Neil Marshall? I have a flashback of this trial about some evidence. I'm gonna show you when it happens. Evidence. I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. You certainly can't get dead people to testify. Technically you can, but she's not here. So yeah. Touché, Mrs. Sky. Of course, it only leaves us with one possibility.
And what is that?
You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. In one manner or another. That's impossible. Well, Mr. Wright, is this only possibility left to you? A message from the deceased. Does this message exist? It's in the evidence. I'm gonna put it there. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister's a murder? Murder. I'm uncertain how to take it right now, because you said to try to defend one. Do not be mistaken, Miss Sky. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of anything. There is only one thing we seek, the truth. No matter how painful it may be. Yeah, this seems kind of painful, especially one that is dead, guy. Wow. Oh. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us a piece of evidence that conveys the message of the deceased. Take that! This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right? Oh, is he going to just speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Look at everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? When you look closely, there is a faint trail of blood on this jar. It looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Ah yes, there's a line there, drawn in blood actually. So what are you saying? Is these dots were once lines? Jessica Marshall did not die instantly. He used a few precious moments left in him to leave a message. And that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do now is connect the points. And the victim's measure will become apparent. No. Apparently it is still Emma. Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal us the answer. I've got to connect these dots to make a letter. There's only one thing the victim couldn't have written, given the circumstances. His murderer's name. What? You're eating that? So this thing to this thing to this. Whoops. the defense authority a duty to prove their client's innocent. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought I would turn out like this. Emma. So this is the final message Prosecution Marshall left behind. Yep. Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma's guy. That one did not really have any taste on it. Seaworthy, I can't say I didn't warn you. Chief Gatt, do you understand the complications of what you've done? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forced evidence to ensure this conviction. Yeah, I think it was broken. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer, that's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We aren't the defenders of justice. What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-ups or evidence of forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this is a fact. This fact cannot be denied. Order! Order! Order, for F's sakes! Everyone just shut up! The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared races. This trial is heathery, no one knows. Goodness sake me. To be continued! We're going actually to continue and see where it leads. Okay, where are we going? Where are we going with this? February 25th. District Court, Phantom Lobby number 2. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Oh, I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Again. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And on top of it, you call me here. I've seen happy people at funerals. Take it, Lana's having you on the run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give you this. It was a break in today's trial. What in the actual poop color is that? Evidence law? Edgewood was talking about it just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1: no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that not right? It seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. That's why you gave me this. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him? I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. I'm gonna check it out right now. Just stand there and I will read the book. I will take this as a bedtime story. No evidence shall be shown without approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case trial. Okay. I think I know where this is headed because I remember this part. Not this part, but just a flash. Like her picture, more or less. Doesn't look like it's good booking. That book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Miss Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? You're credibly been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out all the unwillingly caused man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You got to be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? We're going to expose him. No matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people at the time of bringing it to an end. I'm gonna continue, most because there's still 20 minutes left, and I like this game and it might end soon, so yeah. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, this isn't very easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Miss Edgeworth, may have struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witness? I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no proceedings or what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witness. Very well, Mr. Wright. What do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well then. The defense accept the prosecution's proposal. Then it is settled. Then, defense may now come forth the next witness, apparently. Mr. Wright. You do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is good as over. Defense calls... witness. Take that! Yeah, I did not F up. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does this have to do with anything? At the defense bombardment 2 years ago, Mr. Gant's first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also have at least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Will you agree, Your Honor? True! Alright, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. He always looks a bloody clueless. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this? Some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant, the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests you to hear your testimony. Alright, what with a grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean the time when Lana's sister murdered the prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There's still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware of courses that I believe Chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure, take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The Chief of Police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, as an action carries with it a certain risk. Oh, don't worry. I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I did not warn you. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. Make a long story short, we slipped up. The power outage did not help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Was that when Dark was arrested? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I better hit him hard and fast. I'm gonna just squeeze you like a lemon. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably why that spooked Dark. Made him run away there like that. Was the defense Lana Skye also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. So where was she? So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and then went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outrage? Outrage, something. Oh, that! The elevator stopped all of a sudden, and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went in his heart, though. He looked so calm about that, like, Jesus! Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer was lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was lying collapsed on the floor. Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out too. Next to them was those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. How did you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. So that means... We found the body near Lana's desk. Ah, that's right. I think you said earlier, it was my pseudo-barber. That really stabbed the prosecutor? Yes. Anyway, as you can see, I have nothing to do with the forgery. So you're saying that the forgery that had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office. That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt. Moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. that how it really went down? Starting at a witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you better off staring at the court record. Were they always the smooth talker? Which piece of evidence ties Gaia did admit to forged evidence? That can't be the whole truth. Somehow I got to link Gant to the evidence. So technically, this is nothing. This is the thing with the forgery. Something that says with Gant here. So this doesn't say us anything right now.
Objection!
This. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this list for example. The list Emma Sky drew a picture on. This list was discovered on your in your desk. Not only that, but a piece of jar that was sitting in your office was found inside your safe. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in a legal investigation. Chief Gant, what is the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worth. Technically, we have rivaled him a few times now. And Von Karma. So you admitted then that you were involved in the forgery. Who? Me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Oh well. You were the one who snuck into my office, where you found this evidence. Prosecutors are only capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Is it not right? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding this piece of evidence found in your office, and the relations to the forgery that took place in the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Apparently not, but we're going to do this. Let's see, what is it now? A jar fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when these pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, they're worthless. There's no reason I participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Technically it would. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Oh, indeed, I believe I will press charges. So you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Aji. In return, though. I know. That plays right. What are these guys telepathic or what? Evidence of forgery. I appreciate if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I have you know, back in the day I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped. Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof of the contrary, you're going to need it later. What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Raito Raito's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal. I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. Ah, he is a bit weird. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe, such an act would necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at the crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, Raito. It all depends on when the items was discovered. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, wouldn't that be convenient? Right. Chief is talking about a possibility, so as long as you can't rule that out. The remarks, however clearly may be, will not succeed in wasting time. Come on, Raito, think about it. There's no reason I participate in forgery. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Rearranging a crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Really, Chief Gant, at the very least there is one very large benefit you reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would of course be the position you have. That would of course be the position you have. Chief of Police. Oh! The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is a sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one. Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, it was going to be made chief anyway. Be careful when you're pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there is only one possibility motivation for you committing forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it is out in the open now. Gee, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. Nothing in it for you. Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you better think again. You're right, you don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people, that's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself though. Ah, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him, given his selfishness? Point out. True, you might not help out anyone for their sakes, but if it could benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well then, who is this person you believe Chief Gant has helped forge evidence? Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye, the defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in the light of circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Would have wanted to help her more than her own sister Lana. And as of Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the prosecution's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how could he profit from all this? You will be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, you would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that, despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh god. Yeah, you can see it like that. Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. No, never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her. Right, my boy, you have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? She keep quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this is amount to do nothing more than a mere conjure. Unless that is also what happened in this incident. This happened, which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The Chief Prosecutor had been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want to get you hurt. Just not what you mean. What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in a law enforcement agency. They accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder. That is, impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating Mr. Edwards said in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There is no turning back for us now. Luckness is the one who decided to go through with this. Thank you for him, at least. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence would tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright got. That'll be good. Show us evidence that ties Mr. Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Ah, right. Well, Chief, so long as Raito here is tossing out things regardless of their relevance, mind if I toss something to you, Oji? This shoe should do nicely. I chuck it right at you. You always were quite the joker, weren't you? Whoops. Did I take the wrong one? I took the right one, right? Okay, I can't save. Shit. Frick. Because this is 7777. This ties in there. Bloody handprints on Marshall's own locker. The print was wiped. Video games are considered. Nah, that's not. No. No. Evidence. Nah, it only shows us this thing. No. No. But the only thing is this thing. Apparently I took the wrong one before. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one shown who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID card on the list we wouldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7. I'm just going to say 7. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my ID number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office require a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean? I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7. The same as the remaining ID card number on the list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. You effed up by using the same code. Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to a maximum extent of the law. Right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. It's getting exciting, that's why I'm actually extending my little stream here right now. Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of this crime. What about it? I'm the chief of police. Whatever is in the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me. When you entered the room, were you alone? I always go for the bathroom alone, as do I do for the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days, Chief Gant? I'm afraid you just undone yourself. On that day, you have to meet with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial purpose is to determine Landeskai's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime. And we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof of the victim went to meet the Chief Gant on the same day. Nah, that just says that, so that doesn't tie everything here. Can it be this thing? Because it's a lost item report with his ID card. But he needed to transfer the stuff, so he didn't have the card with him. Yeah, this. I think Goodman's lost his ID card on that day with crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out the lost item report. You will have to give that report to Chief of Police. Yet you are in the possession of the report. Which means you can't be sure if he filled it. He filled it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh, Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, we accompanied the detective to the evidence room. Accompanied him? There is no other way the murder of Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait. The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. You could have just lend him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done... Sorry, but that's not possible. According to record, your car was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you really had lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. Ah, and there he flipped. His switch has been flipped. Chief God, you didn't... The murder was most likely a sport of the moment crime for no one in the right mind. We choose the police department as the place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You were forgetting, Mr. Wright. But the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did you manage to move it there? I was in the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant left all the evidence we need to prove that you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna save because I have forgotten which was useless. Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief can't use this. This? Well, yeah, I thought so. Only problem is, maybe a piece of evidence really did have something to do with this case. Ah! How stupid of me. I thought I needed something to move, but yeah, it's that. This is how he moved the Goodman's body. Parking stop? Miles Edgeworth? You mean... The body was found in the trunk of Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. You mean I carried the victim's body? Precisely so. But wait, even you know, I didn't plan on returning to my office after the ceremony I finished that day. But you did return. Tell me why. Oh god. I was asked to go, by Chief Gant no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbing, I brought this back here. You see? What you were really taking to prosecutor's office wasn't the screwdriver, but the victim's body in your trunk. Oh god. At the same time, it felt like you were just smell it at the same time, but okay. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transpose evidence from a closed case? There is only one possible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Order! What's going on in here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Mr. Starr took in the prosecutor's office. This was not a photograph of the body being stuffed in the trunk or trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. This is a photo of the body being taken from. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe your time is up. My time? Sorry, Raito, but I am having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination is not finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons like the right to refuse to testify. I'm evoking that right now. What? That is not the right to be casually invoked. There's certain risks to be considered. So you're just going to run after all this? Run away. Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed all good. Is that what you're saying, right? But if you have any conclusive evidence, you would have presented them. Well, do you think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show me proof and get it over with. I say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusation against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honor, do you have any proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Mrs. Skye dispose of his body? Do you have any concrete proof? Yeah. Yes, Your Honor. I do have such evidence. Please hurry up and present it. But just remember, it better prove Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman. Oh, balls. I'm gonna F up here. I have 3 times left. Okay. Between 4 and 5:30. 4 and 5:30. Yeah. It is a bit of a bugger. I'm gonna try. This might be a bit of a bugger. It's proof, somewhere or not is enough to demonstrate the chief's guilt. Well, apparently not. Oh. I'm gonna see what happens here. Might bugger this off, but okay. Siaji. In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip: never gamble what you can't afford to lose right now. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again. Okay, Aji, I'll leave the rest to you. Did I really F up by just choosing that? I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is afford to a sinner offense.
Objection!
Wait, was he about to take some of my more? Was he about to penalize me more? And they just coded it into my like, no, you're just going to take it away. Bloody hell. Mr. Edgewood, what do you mean? There's one Lady Luck who knows the real truth behind the trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth. Another witness? In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Grant has invoked his right to refuse testifying. There is someone else, one more witness who can answer the questions. Raised in this trial, someone right in this very room.
Miss Edgewood, who is this person?
Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Oh, shit.
Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist?
Yeah, when he said telling the truth, there's only one.
The defendant? Miss Anna Sky?
She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on the February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders.
Miss Edgeworth.
The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor.
Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 50 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Oh, hold on. Chief, I thought you were going to eat.
Listen good. Listen good now. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this. But if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there'll be a terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. I feel of finishing this off, but it's getting kinda late, so I might continue this next time. Just something to think about. Alright, I got a lunch date to meet. Am I going to finish this or not? When the recess start here, I have to finish this off. Seriously, I've done an extra half an hour. Okay, so we save. So yeah, I hope you like this video or stream, depending on. Trying to get better on streaming, just because it seems that people aren't really interested in what I'm doing. But I do this because I'm interested in it. That's the most basic fact of all this. Else gonna try to get these on YouTube again. The same goes for my other streams. Oh, bloody hell! Sorry for that. So else, if you do like this, if you do like what I do, do check out my support channel, which is down there somewhere. But also, if I can understand, because I do not do this often as myself, if you don't want to waste money on me, if you still want to support the channel, do check out my Loots link down below, because when I stream, you can actually be a part of the stream by clicking in a message, sending it directly to me, and the only thing you need is an account for Loots. And on the right here, it will pop up a message, first a ad of their choosing, not yours, but theirs, and after that, the message that you wrote will be right there. So if you do want to support me, do check out those things. Else, do watch me or follow me as well, because those work out
very well. Else, I do hope you like this playthrough. I do like this game, and I do think it's an enjoyable stream at least, especially with the voices. It's killing my throat. Else, it's not much more to say here. I'm going to start streaming Man of Medan next week. I hope I'll see you here then. And also, well, that's not also, that's about it. So good day or good night, and I'll see you next time. Bye!